I've read some of the reports out there talking about how Cardinal Burke and others moved to block this Bergoglio wing of installing a real progressive, and that really this idea of a bridge between both camps has emerged, and that was the election of Prevost, now Pope Leo the 14th. What have you heard? What are you hearing? And what are your thoughts?
Well, we've had Pope Francis for 12 years, and he had appointed 108 of the 133 electors. So going in, it was going to look progressive, it was going to look liberal, and the key candidate for the liberal progressives was Cardinal Parolin, who's the Secretary of State, the Vatican. And it seemed almost impossible to undo that. And yet here we are a week later, and we have Pope Leo the 14th. And how did this happen? Well, it appears that in the first few ballots, Cardinal Parolin could not get anything close to even a 50% majority. And that, I think, is due to conservatives and moderates linking together to block that vote. It takes 45 votes in this last election to block a candidate. They were successful in doing that. Once that happens, the Cardinals have to look around because you need a 2/3 majority to elect a pope, not a 51%, a 2/3. And at the end of the day, they needed someone who could maybe shave away some of those votes from Parolin and join the American Cardinals, join the Asians, join the Africans, join the conservatives in Europe. And that candidate was Cardinal Prevost. And he's already done many symbolic gestures that many people don't recognize. The way he came out on the balcony is in line with the traditional attire of the popes. He said the blessing in Latin hasn't been said since 1939. Many signals, though, his pectoral cross, him taking up residence in the papal apartments, signaling a change, a break with Pope Francis. And many Catholics, myself included, around the world are just so hopeful and so delighted that we perhaps are going to see a renewal in the Catholic Church. And he's American. And so we have President Trump in the White House. We have Pope Leo the 14th, a man from Chicago in the Vatican. And Jack, next year is the 250th anniversary Jubilee of the United States of America. I really hope Pope Francis says, Pope Leo, will you please come join us to celebrate 250 years of America? Can you imagine what that would look like to have Trump and Pope Leo celebrating 250 years of the United States of America? If so, we are so back, Jack.
Yeah, I'd love to also see his brother, by the way, Lou Prevost, up there as well. I'm sure President Trump will be more than happy to have Lou over, who is also shipmates with Steve Bannon, come to find out, on a ship in the Navy some time back. Dr. Marshall, when we see all these signs, we're trying to figure out what's going on. One of the pieces of reporting that's come out from an old colleague of mine, Alex Salvi, we were at OAN together. He's now at Newsmax, and he's been stationed in Rome for a few years now. He mentioned that really one of the things that scuttled Parolin's candidacy was this deal that was made with the CCP. And in fact, the Asian cardinals completely turned against him once they found out that he was involved. Are you hearing that as well?
100%. Yeah. The Cardinal Parolin he brokered a deal with the help of ex-Cardinal McCarrick, who was the one who was kicked out of the priesthood. He was removed from being a cardinal for the credible allegations of molesting young male children. And that deal was a partnership with Pope Francis, Cardinal Parolin, and ex-Cardinal McCarrick. It's been a disaster. It's been an embarrassment in the Catholic Church. Cardinal Zen of Hong Kong repeatedly begged for the deal not to go through. Francis and Parolin pushed it through. Basically, the short version of it is there has been since the 50s two versions of the Catholic Church: the underground faithful Catholic Church and the communist version of the Catholic Church. And basically, the short version of it is they have regularized the communist national version of the Catholic Church, and even given veto powers to the communist atheist government veto powers over bishops in China, which is just.
And by the way, Dr. Marshall,
veto
just so you know from my own experience, and folks know that I spent 2 years as a Catholic in China, that if I wanted to go to a mass on Easter that was being said by a priest who came from out of China, so this was sort of like an international one, it was going to be in English, I had to show my passport to Chinese police officers before I was allowed into church on Easter to prove that I was not a Chinese citizen, nor that I was bringing a Chinese citizen, because they were so worried about someone hearing about the word of God and the good news of the resurrection. That was in Shanghai.